do for a while, just really kind of conduct small, intimate conversations. So I thought it'd be super dope to bring that in to what we're doing with Heavy Sound Labs. For those of you who don't know, Heavy Sound Labs is a new company that I'm launching, that I have just recently launched, rather. It's a music technology company redefining today's record label. You know, we say that we're setting ourselves up to look for tomorrow's next emerging stars today. You know, so I wanted to do what I've always done, which is find an artist at an early stage in their career, sign them, invest in them, develop them, show traction, and partner at a major label. You know, I said I've been doing this for 20 years throughout music. I've had the honor, the pleasure, the privilege of working with, just many artists. So at this point, I can't do new things the old way. So I want to do the same thing, but just in a different way. So today we have technology, of course, that just gives us the ability to make smarter decisions. I've invested in artists many of times, and some have worked really well, and some I've lost a lot of money. So now today I say that I want to invest in artists on a performance-driven basis. So you guys check out the website, heavysound.com. Any artist can apply. We look at your application, we look at your socials, we ask you some questions, and we run you through a series of questions that we design as if we were having a conversation with you. So you should check that out if you're an artist or if you know any dope up and coming artists. But at the same time, I said that I wanted to do that with up and coming executives as well. I'm a guy that started off selling mixtapes in high school, interned at record labels, at recording studios, and worked my way up to start my own record company at a very young age. So of course I've gained a ton of knowledge, a ton of experiences, good and bad, but no matter what, I've learned from them all. And I've met a lot of great, intelligent, creative people. On this journey of becoming a music executive, specifically if you're an entrepreneur, it's a different skill set, and you have people that are really stars and really excel in a real way. So we're going to bring you guys stories in intimate setting. This is the start of it, right? Heavy talks. We're going to have Tamiko first talking with DJ Scream. DJ Scream's like, forget about it. That dude is like Atlanta staple. Like, it's mandatory to go. If you have an artist, it's mandatory to try to get Scream to know your artist. So he's broken countless of artists. So I think that that's going to be a really great conversation. Now, Heavy Crew is really what I decided to do, and on top of Heavy Sound Labs, just thinking about what does today's street team look like. The street team now has to evolve, right? Before, people were passing out flyers and stickers and hanging up posters. I did it myself. Like, I was on street teams, I was on many street teams, and I have my own street teams, So now today, in an automated way, in a better way, I look at Heavy Crew as bringing a collective of people together to start a community, obviously of like-minded people, creatives, music lovers, people that want to be future executives, and also people that just want to be closer to the process. So this, once again, is the first series of questions. Not questions, but just in general heavy talk. The first show that we're bringing you guys intimate conversations on. First up is Tamiko Hope with DJ Scream. And then following that, we'll have Malachi speaking with Jay White, super talented, very successful producer right now. And then following that conversation, I'll be speaking directly with Coach K, who clearly you guys should definitely know of, super legendary guy in today's business. So I'm gonna pass the mic to Tamiko Hope and DJ Scream. Scream, what's good, man?
Hey, everybody.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How everybody feeling? Everybody good? What's up, Jay?
What's good? What's good, Scream? You all right, man?
Yeah, everything's wonderful. Blessed, man. What's up, Tamiko?
What's up, Scream? How are you?
Good, good. We here. That's the
I
new.
know we are here. We're here.
What matters the most. Healthy in here.
That's right. That's right. And I want to thank everybody for being here today. Obviously, we're going through a really interesting time right now. So I'm hoping all is well with everybody, their family members and friends, and yeah. So I think we should jump right into it. We have a little bit of time to talk, so I wanted to just get to it. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So first of all, I want to say, like, you and I met in, like, was it 2007, 2008, working with Shawty Low?
Yep. Around
Yep. Yeah, around that time. And I will say that, like, you were very much about your business. I really paid attention to how you moved in the meetings and, the things that you said, and we just kind of aligned from there. So we've been like brother and sister since, been family since. So I know you graduated from Tuskegee, right?
that.
And you had a degree in engineering.
Hmm.
Okay, but you were always like mixing and DJing, etc. And I kind of want to talk because a lot of our heavy crew members and people on this chat are just starting out, and I think it's important to always start from the bottom so people can kind of see your progression versus where you are right now. So with that being said, I know you worked at the Guitar Center
Hmm.
before you really got into the business. What?
I think the bottom is coming up in Decatur, Georgia, going to Cedar Grove High School, where
Mhm.
that it was just a dream for me just to share a space and the energy with Atlanta legends like DJ Navs, DJ Jelly, Edward J. Like that was the ultimate bottom, not like low bottom, but it was kind of like I'm listening to radio and I just want to be as dope as them one day and I want people to care, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Obviously, when you finish high school, some people do go to college, some people don't. I opted to go to Tuskegee, which was a whole different world, you know what I'm saying? A whole different challenge, a whole new beginning. So I had to like rethink my goals. Like, okay, here we are in Tuskegee where some of these people that are from many different places
Mhm.
don't know the people that I look up to, you know what I'm saying? So what are my goals? And then immediately I said, all right, well, my goal is going to be the biggest DJ on campus. And
Mhm.
then my next goal would be to be the biggest DJ on all the surrounding campuses in the state and to just kind of go from there. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
that's kind of where, um, I've been DJing since I was, 12, 13 years old, at least in my bedroom, you know what I'm saying? Perfecting my craft and everything and just wanting to be dope. But I think it's when I went off to college that I actually started to just kind of start to really evaluate my goals and say, hey, what am I going to do with this? Is it going to be a hobby forever or is it something that I'm going to put my life into? And then
Mhm.
that's when I started to kind of structure some of my goals. And yes, that eventually led to graduating, going on tour with Montel Jordan, traveling the nation for the first time, you know what I mean, learning a lot about the industry, paying real close attention to what was going on, meeting some people back then in '04 that I still talk to this day, building some relationships, which eventually led to the whole thing that we all go through in music, which was mismanaging my money and having to go get a job at Guitar Center. So
Mhm.
that's
I
the
wanna
book part.
so I wanna ask you this, did you choose Guitar Center because it was closely associated with music?
Absolutely. I chose Guitar Center to be honest so I can get a discount on the stuff that I wanted to buy. And I ended up being there a little longer than I wanted to. But it's dope, man. I remember selling like music equipment to B. Michael Cox, I believe, and Toomp and Mr. College Park and all these people that I looked up to at the time. And
Mhm.
I remember the day when I can't remember quite who it was, but they came in and was like, yo, what are you doing here? I'm like, what do you mean? When I got bills, like I'm working. What do you mean? He's like, nah, like your mixtapes are on fire, man. They're on every bootleg table. You need to figure it out because you can do a little better outside of here than in here. Then I started to evaluate that, and eventually, you know, what I mean, that led to other endeavors.
Mhm. I think that's like a hack in my opinion in terms of, like, if people have to go get a job, I think it's important to try to get a job closely associated to the industry that you want to be in because
Mm.
it's a way that you can learn and get paid for it. You know what I mean? Or even if it's not in your field, maybe a skill that you're weak in because you can again strengthen that skill while you're getting paid. So I hate when people look down on folks that have to or end up taking a job just because they need to pay bills. So I don't know, I thought that was important to mention.
Get that job. I mean, look, even after you have a job, or even after you get to the place where we are, like, is successful in our fields, you still work for someone.
For
So if
sure.
I'm a DJ at a club and I'm not making the people happy or playing the music that they want, or if I'm not, engaging the people as a radio host, I'm
Mhm.
eventually going to lose my job. So I work for the people. You're always working for someone. The
Mm.
CEO of a corporation works for the people. If
That's right.
all the people shut down and stop buying the products or supporting the CEO for whatever reason, you're not going to have a company that long. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
we're
So
here
I
now.
always looked at a job that way. Like there are obviously different levels of having a job. You know what I'm saying? There's some
Mhm.
that allow you to call more shots, but you always working for someone, regardless of what you're doing.
Right, absolutely. I saw some of the questions that some people submitted, and I know that you and Rip built Hoodrich from the ground up. So,
Mhm.
talk to me about that process. Like, what did you guys do to keep going? Like, when everything was telling you basically to quit. Like, you know, um, how did you care when nobody else cared? You know what I mean?
It's crazy. We went to high school together, and then we kind of lost contact with each other, and then we ended up running into each other and reconnecting. And I think that, man, me and Rip used to like sit back and talk to each other, like, man, eventually you have like LaFace, you have like So Def, you have this is when Grand Hustle came about, you know what I'm saying, and DTP. And we were like, one of the things we really take pride in is just Atlanta and this hip hop culture in this city. And we know where it came from. We know when it wasn't cool and Outkast and Goody was struck like pushing to make Atlanta hip hop cool because we were just known for booty shake music, you know what I'm saying? And we
Mhm.
both mutually made the pact at that time that we want to be a part of Atlanta hip hop culture and be a part of helping to keep it going. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So at that time, what is labeled as hood rich entertainment, it embodied like the dopest DJs in the city, people outside of DJing that just did dope things and had the same passion for Atlanta hip hop culture. So I think the thing that keeps us going or kept us going was just the fact that um we were getting genuine love and salutes, meaning as in when we went out in the streets with the mixtapes, people would give us our fuel. They'll say, "Keep going, don't stop. We need this. We want
Mhm.
an alternative to whatever else is going on. Keep going. We like it." You
They
know what
get
I'm saying?
hope. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. Like even with the podcast now, a lot of people are talking about the podcast with me and Bank. Like it's the people that keep us going. You know what I'm saying? Like they're
Mhm.
like, don't stop. Whatever you do, we need this every week. If we don't have this every week, we're gonna be angry. So don't stop. And that's the thing that always keeps me going. Like if the people are happy, then it's gonna motivate me to, keep at it.
For sure. You keep the people excited. And
Mhm.
yeah, it keeps you excited. And then for a long time, it was just you two. And then obviously you had to grow your team. So, like, what were the first steps in growing your team?
Man, hollering at our friends, Black Bill Gates, MLK, Swamp, Spins. People won't even consider like just friends, it's like family. Um, that was just more comfortable for us
Mhm.
because this is an industry obviously where if you have to work with people that you don't necessarily know, but you know what type of industry it is. I mean, those relationships can be very beneficial and then they can turn into positive things, or those relationships can be very detrimental. So we were, in building the foundation for our imprint and our company, we wanted to deal with people that we knew and could trust and that
Mhm.
could trust us. You know what I'm saying? So obviously we built it there to build a solid foundation. And then from there you end up doing business and mingling and interacting with different people because you can't do it all alone. You're gonna need more help. You did.
Yeah, for sure. And then this is kind of like a quarantine type question because obviously people are, out of work and, falling on hard times, and there are loans available or grants available to people. But I've known a lot of people that can't take advantage of them because they never set their business up in
Yeah.
the way to be able to do it. So, like, on a basic level, like when you start a business, what are some things that you should have in place so that you're doing good business from the very beginning legally,
Yeah. I tell everybody you can get an LLC started up for maybe $100 or less. You know what I'm saying? Go
Mhm.
put it on paper. I think that when you look at that LLC documentation and just look at it, it's a sense of accomplishment. You know what I mean? Get you a tax ID, get you a bank account. I think that it's a certain level of respect to just handing somebody a check when you pay them with your company name on. I think that people kind of just like, oh, you're a real company. Like you're not just, oh, you do this for real. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like even though it might only took 30 minutes and a couple $100 to set up, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know, why not? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I tell people, people will have a business and go make an Instagram and a Twitter, which you should. Very key. You know what I'm saying? But then they don't have a business.
For sure, exactly.
And they'll get mad when someone takes their business name. Oh, someone took my name and this and that and that. Well, you didn't even do the basics. Like you don't even have a web domain and a real business setup. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's important just to take care of your business, handle your business, treat it as such. Get that Twitter, get that Instagram, get that tax ID, get that LLC, get that website domain. And if you can, you know, take it a little further and get that trademark so you can have ownership from day one. And this is my entity. Somebody might want to just come buy you out for your name. Boom, you score it, sell it. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
you decide to. So I
Right.
think that that's imperative, man. I'll come up with a business idea and just go do the LLC for the hell of it, just in case. You know what I'm saying? Like I have lots of LLCs. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
have to take care of that business, and I think people just take you serious when you do.
No, for sure. I remember I had written some bios for Drummer Boy, and when he came to pay me, he brought his big, the big professional,
Love
um,
it. I like them.
folder with the, checks, and he, wrote my checks right then and there,
Yeah.
and it was just a different level of professionalism. So I certainly, appreciated that. But so there are a lot of artists in our crew that are interested in obviously wanting to be on the radio, etc. Like, what are some things that you look for in terms of an artist, and then when are they radio ready? Like, what makes you put a song either on, your mix shows, and then of course iHeart, Hoodrich Radio, etc., XM, Sirius XM.
Yeah. What people have to understand, and now obviously I have dealt with and deal with a lot of street artists, is that radio is a very mass thing. So it's not um 50 or 100 or a couple hundred people. Like you have thousands of people, sometimes maybe millions of people tune in to you on radio.
Mhm.
So it's important because it is as street as I am. When I first start doing like radio, like I would just want to play street music. I don't care about all that. I ain't playing no R&B. I'm just playing blah, blah, blah. And then culturally it impacted, and everybody was like, "Oh, Scream is hard. He's keeping it real." But you have to kind of look at numbers too. And I'm like, all right, well, what about the 14-year-old kid that don't want to hear that? They want to dance. Or what about the lady in her mid 20s or mid 30s that wants to hear R&B? So I say all that just to say I've evolved, and kind of now I'm just kind of in the space of you have to touch masses. So if you have a real audience, a pure audience, you know what I'm saying? Then
Mhm.
I'm going to want to help you enhance that audience by playing your record on radio for more people to hear it. You know what I'm saying? But you can't start day one on the radio with, you know what I'm saying, like 10 fans, 10 followers. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
So
just
basically, do the
bad
like
for radio.
groundwork. Is that, I mean,
Definitely do the
is
groundwork.
that how you hear about new artists, through like friends, other DJs? Like, okay.
I'm a little bit of a music nerd. Like I'll go to an open mic. I'll look at streaming numbers. I look at Shazams. I look a little bit of everywhere. Like I kind of really just still dig.
Mhm. You
Obviously,
like to discover.
I just started 2 weeks ago, like just looking on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So I just started looking at TikTok and like, wow, this is a whole different world. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
it's a lot of dope stuff boiling over there at TikTok. So I just kind of just look at everything and just try to pick out, what. Hope my ears don't fail me, and just know that if I hear something or see something special, you know what I'm saying, then that hopefully that'll be what it is.
Okay. And then we get a lot of questions about networking, right?
Mhm.
So I, again, I've known you over 10 years, and I would actually classify you as somewhat of an introvert. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? I don't think you're like a super, in
Mhm.
somebody's face type person. So with your type of personality, right? Like, what have been your secrets to networking? Like, how does DJ Scream network? And not DJ Scream as DJ Scream we know him now, but when you
Right.
start.
Um, it's crazy. I used to go out with MLK when I first met MLK, and he was like, "Man, I just want to go to the club every night and go hard and just network."
Mhm.
And the reason I wasn't doing that is because I didn't have a network buddy. So immediately I was like, "Bro, if you really want to go out every night and we go network together, then I'll do it. But I didn't want to be the only person in the club with my CDs or my business cards, kind of like looking weird, asking and telling everybody you should listen to my mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? So a secret of mine is I'll always pull other people in. Like even when you ask me to do this, I'm like, you gonna be there? You know what I'm saying? Do I have to talk to everybody alone, or is it like it just creates a good energy? So that's something that I've always done. I'll kind of like piggyback on someone else's networking, but I'm not really the person just to go out and just do it all by myself. You know what I mean? Just to be honest.
Right, right, right. Well, how do you determine who's worth your time and what event is worth your time and what's not?
That's a great question. I still struggle with that because
Mm,
sometimes I miss events and I'm like, damn, I missed it. Like I really wanted to be there. And sometimes I'm at events like this was a waste of an outfit. You know what I'm saying? So, like that's just kind of how it is. Oh, but look, I think that you learn something from everything. You know what I'm saying? Like even the bad or the quote unquote unworthy, you learn something. So, um, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I just kind of go with the energy of if I feel like I should be there. Like, say for instance, we were both at the YouTube event, right?
mhm,
And it was like unanimous. Everybody's like, you have to be there.
mhm,
It wasn't a question mark. It's like everybody's going to be there. You have to be there. So I
right.
made time to be there. But sometimes too, just in our industry, is not if you could be everywhere. This is Atlanta now. Like there could be four events going on in one night. There's
One
no way
night.
to go to all these events in one night. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Shakir Stewart, God rest his soul. I remember he told me one time what he does. He was like, you don't have to be everywhere. But he was like, but just show your face.
Show your
Like,
face.
he was like, I would just go to an event for 10, 15 minutes and leave. Then I'll go to the next event, 10, 15 minutes and leave.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I think because obviously, you know how they say, what's that saying? Basically, if people don't see your face, they forget about you. You know what
Mm.
I mean? So it's
Out of
like you
sight, out
kind
of
of
mind. Yep.
stay relevant.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What do you think has been like the biggest mistake and or failure you've made? And then what did you learn from it?
Mm. Oh, I'm not a person that regrets nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's kind of hard. Like,
What's the lesson that you learned in something that you might have done prematurely, spent too much money on, didn't take advantage of,
yeah.
did somebody you
Um.
didn't
that-
find?
uh, I'm a real person from the heart. So
Yeah.
there have been times where I just didn't ask enough questions. So now
Mhm.
even having a marketing company and doing some consulting or what have you, then a lot of times artists or CEOs would say, "Man, I don't want to ask too many questions." I'll be like, "Ask them." Because this is outside of financially, this is your time investment, and you can't get this time back. You dig what I'm saying? So uh, ask questions. Like there's times when somebody will say, "Yo, this person can do this or this person can do that." You know what I'm saying? And this is what they charge, and then I'll just pay it and say, "Okay, just trust that." If somebody says they're going to do what they're supposed to do, they will, but we're not in that type of industry. So ask questions. And since I started asking questions, it saved me a lot of money. Because sometimes you can see a disconnection or something fishy going on. There's a lot of scammers in our industry. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that'll scam you out your money. Very elaborate scams at that. My name has been involved in some of these scams. So
I saw that
I,
recently.
yeah, I would say to everybody, ask questions, ask a lot, and do background checks and get resumes and do the same thing that a corporation would do. Like, don't just go throwing your money everywhere, man. Like, ask questions.
Yeah. And then obviously, everybody is on lockdown. We can't go anywhere for real. Like, what, in your opinion, is a good way to like spend your time or invest your time
Mhm.
while like the world is really quiet and still? Like, what are some suggestions you have?
Get smarter, but more importantly, get wiser. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is a time where uh, a lot of us are missing one thing. We're always complaining, like not complaining, but saying I'm so busy or I don't have time, and there's so much going on. Like, well, what's your excuse now? Get your 2 3 days out the way of Netflix binging and all that, because I did it too, right?
Yep,
And
me
then day
too.
three, I was like, I'm
It
not
was
going to.
depressing at first.
You said what? It
It was depressing at first. I mean, well, it
was
was fun at first.
depressing.
No,
Well,
it was fun at first, but then about that third week, that's when I binged. But I don't want to stop the gym, so keep going.
well, and I started the other way. Like, so y'all are telling me that you're not saying I can't go outside. You're saying you suggest that I don't go out, but I go out 6 days a week. I only stay in one day out the week. And even if it's not for work, I might be going to the park or just whatever. I might just be going out. So, but what I did is I stayed still, which is what I do when I don't understand what's going on.
Mhm.
Like prayer and meditation just told me what's it supposed to be for me, and some of the people around me too, is a time to kind of just sit and kind of click a reset. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I'm more structured. I am more it's more put together than ever. So when I do get back outside, like it's everything's gonna be really smooth because I've had time to really look at detail as it pertains to my brand and my company, and just get a lot of things together and just make them um just make everything flow. You know what I'm saying? So I say just take this time and get wiser. If you're a reader, read. If you're a person that doesn't read, you can find a lot of good stuff on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? YouTube University is real. Um,
Mhm.
paying attention to stuff like this, like there's a lot more of these type of events and panels going on online now that you can learn a lot from, even if you just learn one thing. I think
Mhm.
that's important. You know what I mean? Spend this time to get wiser. I'm very guilty. I was supposed to spend this time to get a little more fit. I have not done that, but if you can do that too, you know what I'm saying? Maybe do some workout. Just don't spend it. Just don't submerge yourself in the couch and be a potato. Like, just don't do that, because you're gonna regret it afterwards, and you're gonna see so many other people doing progressive things and moving forward, and you'll probably still be in the same space, right? So make the
Mhm.
best of it.
Yeah. And then I got to wrap up here, but you and I talk all the time about books, spirituality, etc. Like, what are like maybe two or three books that you could suggest that our crew like adds to their bookshelf, and that's something that will help propel them, whether it's spiritually or, I
Mhm,
mean, holistically.
mhm. Two of my favorites. One you put me on to, The Infinite Self, Stuart Wilde. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Definitely. I always get it right. The Seven Spiritual Laws from Deepak. You know what I'm saying? There's so many books. That's an unfair question to me. I
Yeah.
read a lot of books now. I went
I
from like never reading books to like it became like a habit. With books, find something that engages you and that you're into. Like I do stocks, but I can't read a stock book. It's not gonna happen. It's boring. You know what I'm saying? So for me to understand stocks, I have to go talk to other people who do it, and they have to educate me on how to do stocks. You know what I'm saying? But find something that's just like really gonna interest you, and it should almost be like you can read that book in one day. It's so good. Like you're not gonna sit there and force yourself to watch a bad movie, right? You're gonna turn the channel. You're gonna turn to the channel that kind of gravitates towards your interests and everything. So you got to do the same thing with books. And then it's exercise. I started with 50-page books, like little pamphlets. You know what I'm saying? And when I was able to knock out them 50s in an hour, then it's like, okay, now I can read 75 or 100-page books. You know what I'm saying? So just find something that interests you. But yeah, Deepak has been a blessing. Stewart has been a blessing. And of course, I'm drawing a blur. There's
The
so
genius things they did. I heard that was a good one.
yeah, yep, yep, yep,
Mhm. Yeah.
yep.
And then my last question, then we're gonna open it up for Q&A.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. That's your book. Damn it. Yes, the
Yeah,
genius that they
I was
did.
kind of
That's right.
waiting, but I was
It was a
like,
lag. It was a lag. I thought you would talk about. I was like, what book? No, no, that's your book. Read all Tamiko's books.
nah, thank you.
That's the game.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But obviously the name of the company is called Heavy Sound Labs, right? And so heavy, like on a source mic, 5 mics, right? 5 mics being heavy. What meaning great? What is the heaviest album from an artist
Mm.
that you could give 5 mics to?
Hip hop.
Or R&B or whatever you're into, Scream?
I think the for me, um, there is no there are no projects that impact me more than Bob Marley projects. So
Wow.
that's
Okay.
the highest standard for me, and everything is kind of comparable to that. So even if you're Dr. Dre and you're making the Chronic, I compare it to Bob Marley. If you're Snoop Dogg or if you're Outkast or whatever, I compare it to Bob Marley. Not in the sense of just genre. It's just that it had everything. It was musically proper. You know what I'm saying? It represented something, which is big for me. You could do an album and make a bunch of music. Even if you're Lil Jon, he represented partying and having a good time. Your album has to represent something. That's
Mm,
a disconnection and the problem I have with some of the projects today. It's just music.
Mhm.
It doesn't represent the time and space we're in. It's just music put together. It's playlists, which is cool. I understand everything has evolved, but you know, um, like Nipsey Victory Lap, like it
Yep.
represents something. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to like Southern playalistic Cadillac music. Now you look at that title and you're like, what does this mean? But when you listen to it, it's like, yo, this is what we're on in Atlanta. This is the vibe that we're on in Atlanta. And by the way, we're dope too. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So for me, even though like that Outkast album, Wu Tang, Nas, Goody Mob, and Dr. Dre, and all these people were massive influences to me. There's probably not a Sunday that goes by that I don't go listen to Bob albums because they were so impactful to my life and so generational. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, that's the heaviest as it gets for me.
That's what's up. That's what's up. We'll leave on that note. And by the way, Bob Marley was one of Nipsey's favorites too.
There
So
you go. There you go. There you
makes
go.
sense. So
There you
okay,
go.
let me open these questions. Let's see. Jared Smith asked, "How does Hoodrich work with Atlanta acts?"
Mhm.
Well, I can answer live. How does Hoodrich work with Atlanta acts that aren't in the trap music lane? Yeah. So he said, I enjoyed the interview with Earth Gang and want to know if there are other progressive acts you've worked with.
Make it clear that this is the lane that um this is the lane we elevated with. You know what I'm saying? And this is a passion. I've had a passion for street music since NWA.
Mhm.
But I love I love all different forms and variations of hip hop. Like when I saw Earthbang, I want you to know, like I'm a fan. I like really you listen to us? I'm like, yeah, I'm like, what do y'all think I am? Like I
Mhm.
like different forms. I like good music, great music. You see what I'm saying? So again, while I'm saying I'm seeking and I'm looking for new talent and everything, I'm not just looking for. I love street music, but I'm looking for everything, anything that's dope. And if I can't per se maybe put my hands on it and help it progress, there's so many different people in our crew and in our circle
Yeah.
that can kind of specialize in that, and they might be able to help you. So we put some plays together with people that aren't quote unquote street Atlanta artists.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. Trail Estes asked, with the mixtape game, it changed due to streaming. How did you adapt and what things did you do? What are your thoughts and tips on playlisting?
I love playlisting. I think it's dope. I do playlists. I'm about to revamp and relaunch some playlists. I kind of saw the mixtape game changing and everything evolving, so that's when I kind of latched on to doing more media and saying that I did a lot of people's first mixtape. You know what I'm saying, and then helped to launch their careers. But now I want to be the person that does their first interview. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So you just have to adapt and adjust. You know, what I mean, everything is digital now, especially right now. It's harder for artists. It's not harder; it's impossible. You can't be an artist and go out in the streets. And what are you gonna do? And there's nobody out there. So you know, what I'm saying
Right,
you
right.
have to adapt and just adjust to what's going on digitally, and that's what I've done.
Okay, and this is a really good question from Prince Zilla. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. But if an artist has a budget to invest in themselves, what are the five most important places their money should be invested? What's the most important?
Mm. Um, I think what you want to invest in yourself, that's a no brainer, right?
Mhm.
Like quality. Invest like get great photos. Get a bio from Tamiko. Um,
Mhm.
make sure like if it's not big, it can still look big, is what I'm saying.
For
So
sure.
go get the most quality thing that you can and make it impress someone. Like if I go to someone's IG page and they got 1,000 followers or 500 followers, but they got dope photos and it looks real professional. I just know that you care about it. Your heart is like you care. You won't just put anything out there. You see what I'm saying? So I would say invest into yourself first. Of course, your sound has to be equally as polished. So make sure that you know what I'm saying. Like if you're a person doing music, that it sounds good. Make sure that it looks good. Um, and then from there, it really just depends on what you represent and what you're doing. If you're a street artist, quote unquote, or a hipster artist or R&B artist or whatever type of artist you are, like it's gonna vary as to what you should invest in next.
Mhm.
Like going to the strip club for a street artist can be an investment. It can be
Absolutely.
necessary, you know what I'm saying? but it might be different for someone else. You might have to, if you're a different type of artist, you might need to invest in just sneakers and having fly sneakers all the time to post on the ground. So it's kind of hard to say this is how you should do it, but I will say invest in quality. Whatever you're doing, try to get the best quality.
Right. Okay. And then somebody, Juan Nixon asked, how do you know when to get behind an artist and their movement? Is it personal preference, followers, their work ethic, the reaction to the material from the clubs?
It's a little bit of, I think it's a little bit of all of the above. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I go off of a vibe. There's been a time before where I'll be at an open mic and I might be there just hiding with my hoodie on, just seeing what's going on. And I might just see somebody and just walk over to them and they'll be like, oh shit, you're here. And I'll just go like, yo, I think you're dope. You know what I'm saying? There's something about you. I might not have identified what it is about you yet, but there's just something about you and I salute you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nothing from you. I just want to let you know I think that you're dope. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it look, every DJ or producer or anybody will get on here and tell a different story, but I'm just such an energy driven person. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like the energy has to be right. Like I can hear something from you. Everybody wants to send me your music. And your music can sound cool, but sometimes you meet people. It's not that they're bad people. You just don't vibe with them, and that's
Yeah.
very important. If we're gonna really work together, like we have to have some type of vibe. That's the only way that it's gonna be successful.
I mean, one of the things that's kind of crazy, like to be a part of the Heavy Crew membership, you have to answer a questionnaire, and part of that vetting process is the energy, right? Like you want to make sure that you're working and dealing with like-minded people. So that's definitely important. What do you think is the best way? This is Ronald Mack asking this. What would be the best way to engage an artist when you believe you have a track that sounds like their vibe? So I'm assuming, obviously, he's a producer.
Also, what's the best way for a producer to?
Engage an artist when you believe you have a track that fits their sound.
Ah, okay. Well, I mean, if you're a new producer and you feel like you have a beat that's good for Future,
Mhm.
the likelihood of you just going and giving your beat to Future is not very likely, right? So I
Right.
tell people you have to, if you got a dope sound and you're a producer, you have to find something from ground zero too. You know what I'm saying? So find something from ground zero and build with it. You see what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Hmm.
So you might go to that open mic or you might go to that showcase, and I think you should be seeking there because this all keeps going. Like nothing stops. Like the whole industry keeps going. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
somebody is going to have to put out music after this person just put out their music. So
Right.
you should be like really, really enthused about finding the new artists and breaking the new artists, which
Hmm.
has always been my foundation as well. It's like, okay, well, this artist is here now. I'm on to the next. I still got love for that artist. We still got a good relationship. But if I don't help another artist the next year, nobody remembers the artist that I helped 10 years ago. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So as
Right.
a producer, DJ, or creator, man, always try to find what's new and what's next. I think that that's the smarter way because it's just not realistic. Not saying it won't happen. It happens, right? But it's
Hmm.
just not realistic as a producer day one or year one or year whatever it is, just to send your production to the big dogs right off the bat. That's just not completely realistic in my opinion.
Right. Absolutely, I agree. And then last question. DJ Screen, this is from Jarrell Brown. What is a financial gem you can share to the Heavy Crew that you learned while in the industry?
Yeah, financial gem, and I think that's important right now, especially with a lot of the things that everyone's going through. Be as smart as you can with your money. And I said earlier in this sit down that I wasn't always, hey, I blew it. You know what I'm saying? I blew it more than one time. But to put some aside for a rainy day saying is just so important. You know what I'm saying? And I think people are seeing that right now because
Hmm.
there's people who had job security in January who are laid off in March. You know what I'm saying? And we're living check to check. Um, you have to think ahead of that. You know what I'm saying? So putting some aside for a rainy day doesn't necessarily mean always stuff it in the shoebox or stuff it in the savings. Like, diversify what you're doing with your money. You know what I'm saying? You can invest in people, you can invest in stocks, you can invest in so many different things. You know what I'm saying? So, and it doesn't take a lot of money. That's the thing. That's the pet peeve for me. People are like, well, I don't have money. Man, you can start with $100. You can start with $50. Just do something else or something creative with your money. And I've learned that in this industry, there are people that you'll come across that have a lot of money that will tell you this didn't come from music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a
It's,
majority of our money did not come from music.
right.
The
It's
music is the most powerful thing when it comes to influence for
yeah.
sure, but you got to figure out other ways to get money because this industry goes up and down, up and down. So
Yes.
diversify that portfolio, you know?
Yeah. Because I've actually had people that paid me from a completely different stream of income
Mhm.
do something for their music career. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Oh, I got them too. Some
Mhm.
so and so real estate investments. I was like, oh, what kind of check is this? Like, yeah, that's the check. That's where the money come from. That's
Exactly.
what funds this.
Exactly. So I'm gonna wrap it up. I want to have you give, your social media handles, and also you do have the Big Facts podcast. It's doing really well. I'm a fan. I tune in. Tell us about what you have going on currently, and what we should be looking out for from DJ Scream.
Absolutely. At DJ Scream on the Twitter, at DJ Scream on the Instagram, Hood Rich Radio on iHeartRadio Monday through Friday. Definitely check that out, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And also Big Facts Podcast with me and my partner Big Bank, you know what I'm saying? Real
Oh,
straight to the point, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you tap into that too. You can follow us Big Facts Pod. And that's it. You know me, every day I'm working on something new. I appreciate everybody's time, all the participants in here, and big shouts out to Heavy Sound for having me, and you, Tamiko, and Jason Jeter. Salute, man, salute. That's a big influence to me too, man. Jason Jeter and how he handled his business. So I appreciate you having me be a part of this, dog.
yeah, I appreciate it. And if I have like one more like couple seconds, is there a particular quote that you live by? Obviously, we're all going through something. Whether it's a financial challenge, spiritual challenge, health challenge, we're going through something. Is there a quote that you live by that we can take away and meditate on?
Yeah, mine ain't gonna be too uncommon. Like I live by the code of do unto others as you want them to do to you, and I think that that's something especially in this industry, people always say, well, wow, it's crazy. You're humble. I can't talk and interact with everybody. That's not possible. But I
Mhm.
met people in a smoothie shop or in this place and that place, and I give them the common courtesy of conversation. That doesn't mean we're going to be best friends and exchange numbers and everything. But somebody might say, hey, Scream, you got a minute to tell me anything that'll help me out because I'm just out here. And I'll just say, hey, maybe pray a little more, maybe focus a little more, maybe evaluate your goals. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
some of those people was crazy. I always tell the story of Trinidad James, who worked at Ginza
Mhm.
downtown,
Mhm.
and I knew him as Nick, and I would go in and buy clothes from him, and we were cool. And then he became Trinidad James. It's just crazy. But he would always say, like, yo, we've always had a good relationship. He's always been solid. And he never asked me about any music, but it's just the respect factor. You don't know who you're talking to.
Nope.
See what I'm saying? You never know who you're talking to. You never know who's paying attention. So you should move yourself accordingly and just treat people right and with respect. I think that's the basics of being successful in everything outside of music, just in humanity. You know what I mean? Show everybody some respect.
Absolutely. That's why we've been friends for all these years. So thank
Much
you
love,
so
much
much
love.
for your time, Scream. I love you. You're one of my favorite people. So thank you.
Likewise, likewise. Y'all enjoy your afternoon.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right, guys. So we are going to go to our next guest and host, which is my colleague Malachi. Malachi is an amazing videographer, but then also graphic designer. He's just an amazing person as well, which you're about to witness for yourselves. And then he's interviewing Jay White, who is a super dope producer. He has an amazing story as well. What Cardi B, Meg the Stallion. So I know you guys are going to enjoy that. So I'll turn it over to you, Malachi.
What's going on? Thank you for the introduction, Tamiko. I like that interview. DJ Scream. What's going on, brother?
Mr. Malachi. What's up, man? Hey, look. You see my background?
I do see
Look
it.
at
Wow, that's way back. That's back in the day, right there.
Yeah, man.
Man, but
Yeah,
nah,
man.
man, it's been fortunate to be able to see your journey and growth, man.
Yeah,
Known
bro.
quite a long time, a long time.
Long time, bro. Long time, man. It's a long time coming, man. But we here.
We are here. So how you doing in this climate right now?
Man, first of all, listen, DJ Scream, man, man, yo, I was there like had my pen and paper. I'm like, bro, was dropping some nice gems, man. He put my mind to some good, perspective right now. But man, what I'm doing right now, man, is pretty much self-reflection, really, really self-reflection, man. Just what we doing? We trying to lose weight. I'm about to beat you. 25-pound
Nah,
challenge.
you're not gonna beat me, man. I'm already there. We talked about this, man. It's just not gonna happen.
Hey, hey, bro, listen. I'm gonna go ahead and text you an L here as soon as it's over with. You know what I mean? No, but honestly, man, listen. Just honestly focusing on myself. Make sure my friends and family are healthy and good and safe, and just getting ready for hopefully this to be over as soon as possible. I just pray that everybody is safe.
Nah, 100%, man. I feel like it's people need to really take right now serious. And
Yeah, man.
one thing that I saw, I was watching the video with Diddy in a panel that they had on Revolt TV, and he
Yeah.
said in order to see greatness, you have to be isolated.
Woo, amen.
Yeah, you have to be isolated, and now is this like that time for just being able to have self-discovery and be diligent and pray and find yourself.
Yeah, bro. I'm glad you said like that's pretty much what most successful people do anyway is isolation. Having that what cliche that tunnel vision. You know what I mean? Just honestly isolating themselves and becoming the best that they could possibly be. Shooting that gym when the lights turn off, you still in there shooting. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And so a lot of the heavy crew members are new, and or they've been in the game and they're just trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. Let's talk about just like how you got started. What was it like for you to understand that you wanted to become a producer? Because as long as I've known you, you've been a producer. You've been that light. You've been able to build up a crowd. So it's just like I think you've stayed consistent and you sought out like this is what I want to do. So how have you been able to keep that consistent since like?
Well, all right. So I okay. So I started off right, eighth grade, and I found out that I wasn't that good at football. so so when they kept calling me Butterfingers and whatnot, I said, you know what I can do? Man, I'm finna make some beats like Timberland and whatnot. So literally, dog, I just, I hone my craft, man, every day, all day, at home, doing talent shows, forming groups, getting told no, getting laughed at, going to the radio station, getting laughed at, taking the CD everywhere, trying to drop off beats to everybody. And just to say, you said, how was I consistent? You said?
Yeah, how consistent? Like basically just in terms of this, like, you knew what you wanted to do, right? But
Yeah, man.
you were able to keep the eye on the ball and keep that consistently till now. So it's just like, what is that
Oh
drive?
yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Like I've had tunnel vision since I was 15, bro. You know what I mean? Like I've literally wanted to do this. I've always envisioned myself just being who I am today, and I still don't feel like I'm where I'm at because one of my favorite people is Diddy. So I always look up to him. So I'm like, man, I got a lot of room to make up right now because my man's is still out there, but I got what 2 Grammys now, man, number ones, big records, but I still have that tunnel vision. I still have that hunger, like I haven't, got it yet.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about you being a producer, right?
Yeah,
Um,
man.
there's a difference between being a beat maker and being a producer. A lot
Facts.
of there's a lot of different people that are coming up. So can you
Yeah,
just walk through like that process of being a producer? Because me directing video, like I feel like
yeah,
you have similar processes. So it's just
yeah.
like walk us through that.
So okay, so just being okay, I learned that I was a beat maker at the time when I moved to Atlanta, 2007. Um, I was with Jazzy Faye at the time, and I was saying, I'm a producer, blah 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 blah. He was like, "No, you're not a producer right now." I said, "Oh, I'm not." He said, "Can you do a song start to finish?" And I had to like, well, dang, I guess I can't do a song start to finish. So pretty much what I learned was a producer is a person who a lot of times don't have to make the whole beat. Honestly, you don't have to touch every key. You don't have to program every track. You literally uh, need to produce the whole record. And when I say produce it, I'm talking about make sure the writer is on point, make sure the mix is good, make sure the sounds are good, make sure the song is the best that it could possibly be. And that's why I feel like I have success now, because I'm not worried about just the beat. I don't really care how hard the 808 knot. I don't care how loud the clap is. What I care is, what are you saying on top of the track? Does it sound cohesive? Does this sound good with your voice? And uh, does these sounds resonate with the world? Not just with a certain audience, not just with guys, girls. I'm talking about worldwide sounds. Do we have that in this record? So for each record I produce, I make sure that that's the formula to each song that I'm a part of.
Now, in terms of this like training, right? I know you have musicality.
Yeah, man.
You know, what do you say has been the key components to you learning music? Because I feel like that's people need to have a
Boy,
foundation in music. You know,
bro, church.
what church has been how you've been able to navigate.
Church, man. That's how I honestly started. You know what I mean? Doing this music stuff. I started with the piano. I started with drums. Like literally, church taught me pretty much honestly everything that I know now. And then from just studying, been on YouTube University, pretty much studying Timbaland, studying Jazzy Faye, Swiss Beats, Pharrell, Quincy Jones, just studying the grace, man. That's all me.
Definitely. Let's talk about just breaking into the industry, right?
Yeah,
Nothing is given. I think for a lot of these younger people, it takes time to be able to get to that success or whatever you deem to be success, right?
yeah,
Talk about some of the seed planting that you did to get to where you are today. Like, from the very first no to you have to have many no's to get to where you are,
man.
but you were able to
All right,
plant a lot of seeds to get to the next level. Let's talk about that seed planting.
let me take my glasses off for this one. Can y'all take a ride with your boy? Can y'all hop in the quarantine car with your boy one time? All right, so listen. All right, so let's just go back to 2005, and let's just go back then. I've been making beats since 2000, but 2005, um, there was a site called Black Planet. All right. So I'm now y'all follow me. I'm finna tell y'all a seed planting story. This is how I met Cardi B, and it dates back to 2005. So 2005, I meet these guys on Black Planet, this manager and this singer, and they need a producer and blah blah blah. So me, I make beats and blah blah blah. We get to know each other. I'm sending them beats, you know, through the internet and whatnot, email, and they're just like, "Yo, why don't you just move to New York? We got an extra room." I said, "Well, all right." You know what I mean? I didn't even know these fools for real, but I went on faith, uh, and I moved to New York. Now nothing came of that situation with those guys. You know what I mean? They were good people and whatnot, but um, I'm a homebody. I don't really like being around a lot of people. I don't like seeing a bunch of people. I just get real nervous. But anywho, LL Cool J was having, this is so crazy. LL was having a back to school party across the street from where I was staying in New York and Queens. Usually I'm the guy, I'll sit in the house and I'll watch it from afar. But some just say, "Yo, I'm finna go outside and I'm finna just walk across the street, literally across the street, and see what's going on and just watch, be around energy." So What's weird is I actually walked down the sidewalk and I walked, I guess, the furthest away from people and then cross the street to walk up to the crowd. It was weird what I did. But anywho, I seen these guys talking about the MTV Awards sitting in the car. So I said, dang, the MTV Awards, huh? I need to meet whoever that is. So literally, I wait till they got done talking, and I approached this guy by the name of Shaq. Literally, my keyboard just came in from Kansas that day. I said, hey, I make beats, blah, blah, blah. My keyboard just came in. You want to hear my beats? My keyboard in the house. They said, sure. Why not? Him and this dude. Now, I didn't invite this stranger to another stranger's house that I just met too. So, and this goes back to tunnel vision as well. I'm so focused on what I want. I ain't focused on the respect. I was tripping, but hey, it is what it is now. So, literally, he liked the beats and blah, blah, blah. I started working with him in New York. He was working with Lil Kim and other people. And anyway, I moved back to Kansas, I think around 2006 or whatnot. And this guy by the name of Shaft, he literally kept talking to me and kept, just making sure I was good, just seeing was I okay throughout the whole process from 2005 to 2016. I had never been back to New York. My cousin at the time, she moved to New York and she moved in with the same people that I had was living with in New York. So she had moved to New York around '06 or something like that. I had linked them up. Literally 2016, I had fallen on hard times. My mother, was murdered 2015. Like I was, when I say I was at my lowest of lows, like I was literally so low. I was done. Like I didn't want to be on this earth no more low. Like I got 2 kids, I'm broke, I can't take care of nothing, blah blah blah. I get to New York, I'm back with my cousin. This is a seed now. The seed I planted back in '05, my cousin ended up staying in New York. So now I'm back in New York because now I got somewhere to go. So I'm back in New York. I happened to call Shaft. He's still the same place that I met him. My picture's still hanging up on the wall. 2016, literally 2016. He said, Jay White, do you have some beats? I said, yeah, I got some beats. He said, yo, well, why don't you come to my crib? This is crazy. You back. Wow. I said, yeah, I'm here, bro. He said, come on over real quick. Can you come now? I said, yeah, I can come now. Next thing you know, I get to his crib. Cardi B walks out the room. 2016. she, and that's how I met Cardi B, like literally. So the seed that I planted back in '05, it was an 11-year journey to get right back to the same thing that I planted. You know what I mean? It was the same, but the whole time I was connected to that same person throughout all those years. And it's just crazy how everything has come full circle to now I'm sitting here able to tell a story to people, to literally just say time is everything. The way you water your plants, the right water, you got to water it in the right ground. Like you got to get the right dirt for it. You can't plant no seeds in no concrete. You can't plant no seeds in no lava. It literally gotta be right. And you literally gotta worry about that one seed. That one seed. Water that thing. That thing will sprout up and change your life. Literally. Like y'all don't understand. Like I did not want to be on this earth anymore. Literally. I didn't want to be here. But I took a leap of faith. I literally bet on myself, yo. I bet on me. That's all I had. That's all I had. I quit my job at UPS. Literally, like I wasn't making no money there for real. I made $8.50 an hour. $8.50, like, bro, like I was on child support at one time. I remember one time my check was $41. I had worked the whole week. My check was $41, yo. Like, son, like, and this is during Christmas time, yo. I got a daughter and a son. I couldn't even really get them no presents. And I was working overtime at UPS and still got a $41 check. Still. So like what type of, you feel me? So it's like I feel like it's seed planting and it's also will. And like you said before, I feel like it's also just being selfish and you got to ask yourself a question is, um, are you willing to lose everything to gain it all? Like, are you honestly willing to lose yourself to gain it all? Are you willing to do it? Like, Mal, like me and you, bro, we can go back and forth with these questions and how it is to make beats and how it is to be in the studio and stuff like that, bro, and all that other whatever stuff, bro. It's like that's cool. I feel like we're in 2020, fam, and we have so many outlets of how you make a beat or how you sell a CD or how you get yourself on Spotify or we have outlets for that, right?
We
But
do.
the outlets that I look for, bro, is can you tell me how did you not give up? Honestly, can you tell me what did you do when you didn't have no money? Can you tell me you did you ever think about killing yourself? Can How did you make it through that? And that's what I want to share to these people is you can make it through even in these bad times, man. Even in these bad times, you can make it through. We will get through this. Mind over matter. Just I feel like we as people got to get, you know, I say this. We working out, Malachi, me and you.
Yeah.
That's one of the most uncomfortable things right now for my body. But but mentally, I'm preparing myself to get uncomfortable. Like you got to get uncomfortable to develop everything you want. Like literally, it's mind over matter, man. Like I'm sorry, I know it went so left, but
Nah, I
it's like
mean, it's in the
man,
spirit. That's just a part of just, understanding yourself. You
bro,
understand yourself. You understand your journey. So those
it's
are those are key components because at the end of the day, it's just like when you're at the edge, what are you gonna do? You know,
thank you.
when you're at the
What are
edge,
you
what are you
gonna
gonna
do?
do? How are you
What are you
gonna
gonna
fight?
do?
Are you willing to fight when you're at your lowest moment? That is the key determination. Are you willing to fight when you're at your lowest moment? Because like a lot of people have dreams, right? But it's just
Thank you.
when when you're not able to get where you want to be, and it's just like you just like no, 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 no. But what inkling do you have in yourself that says I'm confident enough to be able to continue to build my dream?
Thank
So
you.
those
Thank
those,
you.
those are key moments. Those are definitely
Bro,
key.
that's the moment with everything. That's everything, bro. Like
And they apply to everything.
whether you want to be a producer or you want to be the CEO of McDonald's, that's it's the same thing. Are
Right.
you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to lose everything? I can't say that enough. Are you willing to lose everything?
Right.
Everything to gain it all. Malachi,
But
I've seen you. I've seen you at your low, bro. I've seen you, bro. I'm so proud of you right now, bro. I'm so proud of you, bro. I am so happy. I tell you this all the time. I'm
yeah,
happy for you, bro. I'm happy for you. Me and this, y'all listen, me and this dude made, what was this? How many years ago was this? We made a pact with each other that we was gonna make six figures, right? Remember that?
yeah,
You feel me?
yeah.
And bro, for us to be in those conversations now, bro, it is a blessing, bro. It's a
100%.
blessing. You have been in your journey since I've known you. You have been doing the same thing. People have said no. People have done this. You got liars. You got this. My thing is, can you still work past all that? Do you believe in yourself that much? Do you believe in your goals that much that you can see yourself through? Bet on yourself. Literally bet on
You
yourself.
got to
I
bet on
don't
yourself.
care nothing else.
But you
You
know
feel me?
what? It also takes outside of just bet on yourself, right? And this kind of gets into my next question,
Let's
right?
go.
Building the right team, right?
Woo!
Because you and I know both, and I think this is for a lot of people. you have to center yourself around people that are going to uplift you and then are also on the same wavelength, because as you grow you also evolve, right? So
Yes.
like my question to you is like how do you really determine and build the right team? Like what does that look like for you as a producer in your professional field now? Like how have you been able to navigate and build the right ecosystem around your development and branding?
Well, I feel like it. I feel like it all starts from home. I feel like you gotta have a strong foundation from you leaving out your door. You know what I mean? And I feel like that helps you determine who you begin to trust in the outside world. You feel me? So um, I am still at this point developing my great team that I want. But right now, my team is amazing, but it can always be better. Like I've literally learned every experience from you know lawsuits to what I mean. Maybe have to change managers, change lawyers. I've honestly learned trial and error. I haven't got it right at all, but I literally it's there's no rules of this. You feel me? It's literally
Learn as you
picking and
go.
choosing. Yeah, it's wherever you go, but I feel like the best way you find your team is trial and error. It really is. You gonna learn. I always had this saying. You gonna learn when the snow melt. You gonna see who all there. You feel me? So right now, I got a nice little team, and we doing good.
Definitely, man. Um, we got 5 minutes left. I'm about to
Do you want one?
question. Huh?
Do you want one?
What is this?
It's a ginger ale, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, go ahead and send it through the screen. Yeah, yeah. You silly man.
Talk to me, man.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about impact. Let's talk about you being a producer. Like, what is the in a digital space that we are now? Like, how is it for producers really to thrive in this climate? Like, what does that look like right now?
Man, you gotta get creative. You gotta get creative, and I encourage producers, beat makers, whatever people who create sounds, whatever. I encourage them to stick to what they're doing. It might not be working right now, but just stay creative. Literally, keep pushing this forward. Use different sounds like for yourself, as in find what works for you. Like don't try to sound like anybody else. Like I've done that, I've been there, done that, it didn't get me nowhere. You feel me? Like I would emulate what was on the radio or da da da. Oh, they like this kind of kicks, okay, I'm gonna use that kick. Nah, I'm gonna do me, and I'm gonna stick to what I think sounds good and what I feel like people should hear. So I say just keep honing your craft, find the right sound that fits you. Please, please, please be original. Just be original for yourself. We all have a different brain. You know what I'm saying? So we're kind of forced to be original. Don't follow the trends. Follow your own.
100%. Let's
Yeah,
get
man.
let's see what do we got. This is from Antoine Don.
What
Uh,
up, boy?
what are some important and tangible values a producer needs for longevity and evolving in its music industry?
Um, well, so with me, I feel like you gotta have I feel like you gotta have a bit of an ego within yourself. I always want to one up the next thing I've done. That's why my company is called More Hits on the Way. It's literally more hits on the way. I'm looking to get that next record. I don't dwell once that song is out. I don't dwell on it no more. I'm looking to get that next one. I'm looking to get that next sound. I'm looking to get that next plaque on my wall. I hope I answered it right. Sorry.
Hey, gotta answer the best way you can. Uh, oh,
Amen.
I think this is a good question. It's anonymous. It's how has your process changed from 2006 um, till now? Like in terms of just like you making your beats.
Patience.
If you've been maybe simplifying or like
Whew.
what's that process look like?
Man, okay, so patience. I don't got to make a million beats to get a million plays. You feel me? I have I have understood. I now I understand how to make a simple track um, fill the room up. So pretty much, if you take a light in a dark room and you turn it on, it's gonna fill the room. So that's really my thing. I try to use as less sounds as possible. I thought back in the day you had to use all these sounds and tricks and just to get on the radio. Nah, you need the most simple thing to the ear so people can feel it. You need to get right to the song, get right to it. And I've learned that. I've learned that with all my beats. If y'all go back to any of my beats right now, they are simple as hell. That are hardest beats to make though, because damn, I'm like, I done this. How can I do knick knack patty whack in a different way?
This will probably be my well, I probably take two more. This
Okay.
one from Ali Berry. So it's can you explain to upcoming producers and songwriting the importance of publishing and licensing?
Okay, so publishing is everything. You definitely want to get your paperwork straight. You definitely want to get them splits in. That it goes back to what we talked about, having the right team. If you don't know what you're doing, I suggest you get on the internet, you call, get a lawyer, do whatever you got to do to make sure your publishing is right, because that's how we eat. That's how we are able to feed our families, is through that publishing. That's how we get that long money, is on the back end. That is so real. You need to have somebody in place. I don't know if your cousin, uncle, somebody who is smart in your family that can get you to the next level. That's just keeping it all the way like base level. Because
Definitely.
that's what I did.
Also, congrats on Savage.
I'm a savage, classy, bougie, ratchet. I don't know the dance. Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Seeing the Savage challenges, like, what's really been your response to that?
Bro, man, crazy, bro. I'm happy as hell, man. Look, that girl, Queen Cree, or I'm so thankful for her. It's crazy. Look, this I didn't think that I was gonna get another anomaly record like a Bodak Yellow. I didn't think that was gonna happen so soon. I wanted it to happen, but I didn't think it was gonna happen like this, and this is dope. Like I'm basking in the good energy. I love it.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Well, I
man.
appreciate you, man. As always, definitely I'm gonna win in this little
No, you're
challenge,
not, but it's okay though.
little personal challenge, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, all right.
I appreciate you. Let's let us know what's next, where people can find you at.
Yeah,
What artists you working with next, like, anything that you want to tell us.
definitely. Man, what's next? What's important to me is my company, man. More hits on the way. That's what's next. Really, like I'm looking to build a whole new sound, bring a whole new industry to this music. I got some artists right now that I'm about to unleash to everybody, which is absolutely amazing. So I'm looking forward to really getting my opportunity to put my ideas out there and show what I can really do in breaking artists and bringing it to the game. But as far as working with people out, of course, Megan Stallion, Cardi, Gucci. I got a big record. I redid Lady Marmalade, so I got Ariana Grande doing it, Megan and FK Twigs, and I got a Mary J. Blige record working with Usher. It's just all that good stuff. But my main thing is more hits on the way. I'm looking to launch that label this year.
Amazing. Appreciate you, brother. Up next, we got, the founder, Mr. Jason Peter.
Peter.
He's responsible for all this going on right now. And he's a serial entrepreneur. I definitely learn a lot from him. Always, I feel like I always get a gem. And I call him like a humble legend. And he's gonna be talking with Mr. Coach K and with Mogul CEO, Quality Control. What's up, man?
What's good? What's good, Malachi? Jay White, what's good, man?
My guy, what's up, bro?
How you
Salute, bro.
doing? How you doing, man? Salute, man. It was incredible just listening to your story, bro. Obviously, I know the name and know a lot of the hits, but the story and the passion behind it, that's dope to see, and it all
Thank
adds
you,
up.
bro.
Too, you know what I'm saying? So,
Bro, thank
yeah,
you. Thank
yeah.
you for having me on here, man. I appreciate it. I really do. I'm here anytime, bro. Anytime. I really appreciate it.
Nah, for sure. Appreciate it as well, man. Malachi, we'll see y'all guys in a second.
All right.
Uh, Coach, what up, brother?
What's up, my brother?
What's good, man? How you doing? I see the artwork in the back, you know.
I stay here. I'm like, okay, Jay, I see you. You got working on some clothes. I see everything, baby.
Yeah, I got my son's hand drawn, you know, in the back. It might be worth something. Hey, you know, I got to keep that up for a little while, see how he plays out.
Fire.
You know, what's good, man? How you been?
Man, everything good, man.
Yeah, this whole quarantine, of course, you know.
Got us, re-strategizing.
Yeah, the world is different. The world is different, man. It's like it's funny. I was saying earlier, I was like, it's like the world is moving so slow yet so fast at the same time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just crazy because obviously the information and the news and you know and of course the brain, right? It's just like racing as time is just kind of moving just very slow. So it's just interesting, man.
Yes,
You know?
Sure is. It's crazy, like in the business we in, it moves so fast. It's like you. I needed this time to like sit still.
Yeah.
To get all my thoughts out. You know what I'm saying? Because we like when you in it, it's like when you're in it, it's moving so fast, and then you like trying to strategize to be like stay ahead of it. You know what I mean? So I didn't want it to slow down like this. You know what I'm saying? But it's been days where I'd be like, damn, I wish I could just take some time, so I could sit still and think.
Catch up. Yeah, I already know.
Catch up. I've had a lot of time. So this is
yeah. You're like, all right, I'm ready to get back to it now.
Ready to get back in it now.
I mapped out the next 2 years. I'm ready to go.
Exactly. Facts.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. So I want to say first and foremost, man, thanks for obviously sitting down and talking to me, and the whole Heavy Crew team organization. I called you the other day. Rand, you just kind of caught you up on what I'm on right now, starting this new company, Heavy Sound Labs, looking for new artists.
Congratulations on that too, man. It's very, very innovative. I dug into it. Very innovative and what's needed now. You're a forward thinker. You've always been a forward thinker.
Sure.
Congratulations on that.
Sure. Nah, likewise, man. I appreciate it, and obviously likewise with you being a forward thinker, because for real, like I just want to tell you, like you're a major inspiration for this. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, like we started, I feel like at the same time frame, at least in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like remembering going back.
I said we watched each other.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like so
each other, had each other's backs. I mean,
yeah. So, going back to Hindu and, so of course, my biggest thing is you say Coach K and it's Coach K. What is real big right now. You know what I'm saying? You say Coach K, like, but to me, my thing is this, right? I feel like, I wanted to have a conversation with you so we can kind of go back all the way to like Kev Lee and what made Coach K come about. You know what I'm saying? I feel like so often people see like the painting after it's like done. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't really see the process and know.
I always tell somebody, man, all you see is the video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We'll see all the work we did to get to the video, not even get it done, but to get to the video.
Absolutely. Get to the video and all of that. So to me, I just kind of wanted to just really go back to, like, obviously you're not from Atlanta, you're from Indianapolis, like just kind of like your love for music, how it started, and what made you come to Atlanta from the beginning.
What really made me come to Atlanta is, I went to school in North Carolina at Raleigh.
Okay.
I went to college on a basketball scholarship, to HBCU. And my uncle moved to Atlanta in, I want to say like 88, probably like, I want to say he moved like my junior year of high school. You know what I'm saying? This is
Yeah.
my uncle I'm named after. His name is Kevin. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
he a basketball legend in Indiana. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
That's the ball in you know in my crib, right?
Yeah.
But he moved to Atlanta, so I used to come visit him.
Mhm.
And when I was in college, a couple of my partners, and they came down. They went to Morehouse or
Yep.
Clark. So that's a 6-hour drive. It's an easy drive now, 85.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I used to be coming down. We'd jump on, come on down, kick it, party.
Yep.
But I always kind of seen like when L.A. Reid, people, a lot of people, well, a lot of people should know, but L.A. Reid, Babyface is from Indianapolis, Indiana. You know what I'm saying? Like my uncles and cousins, they all went to high school together and all that shit. And when they started LaFace, that rose out the Midwest. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where they from. Like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
LA, Ohio, so yeah. So as I was watching all that happening, just coming back and forth in college, watching all like, damn, Atlanta's the new spot, right? So after college was over, man, I still coming to Atlanta partying, just getting a taste of the culture.
Sure.
I ended up being introduced to Noontime. You know what I mean? And we had came down to Atlanta on some other stuff. We ended up meeting them and created, me and Shakir ended up exchanging phone numbers at the time. Shakir was like an intern there.
Yeah.
And what I seen, I was like, damn, like, growing up, to see young brothers, the way they was handling their business.
Yeah.
The only vision I had of that was drug dealers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the only vision I had. And I was like, just seeing them, we was all, at that time, I was like 94. I was 23 years old. You know what I'm saying? So we all the same age. And I'm like, damn, these dudes got Mercedes Benzes, Lexus on, like they got their own office and studio. Like,
exactly.
This is crazy. This is something that I could do, vision. I really envisioned it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, man, going back home to Indianapolis, that shit just stuck on my brain. I exchanged numbers with brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just keep in touch.
Yeah.
And you feel what I'm saying?
For real. I went to Hampton, right? So for me, same thing, coming to Atlanta, coming down there for Freaknik and seeing like, wow, like people don't understand that, right? Like back then, it's like, I'd never seen this before in my life. Like,
Ever.
Right? Coming up to Lenox Mall and seeing like the valet and like the cars and all young black dudes. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I've never seen this before in my life,
You know what I'm saying?
But
So I go back home to Indianapolis and like all my friends like either rapped, produced, so we formed a company. It's crazy. I ain't never really talked about this, but we formed a company called Universal Stars.
Okay.
10 of us, man. I was the A&R, you know what I'm saying, and manager.
Yeah.
And we had producers, rappers, one of my partners, Malcolm. You know Malcolm too, Malcolm Thompson. He an attorney.
Okay.
Yeah, Malcolm.
Tall dude?
No, he's short, but he worked with Alan when we had Hindu back in the day.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So Malcolm was in law school at Indiana University. So he was the attorney. Like we had a whole structure. But we friends, so it ended up just falling apart. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But then Alan was one of my childhood friends. Alan Henderson was one of my childhood friends. We all played basketball together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He ended up getting drafted, first round draft pick to the Hawks. So when he got down here, Alan was a quiet guy. You know what I'm saying? He from the suburbs, was quiet dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But he loved the taste of the city. You know what I mean? The city living. That's where we was from. You know what I mean? So when he got down here, he was like, man, I think I want to start a record label. I want to jump into the music business.
Yeah.
Shit, I got that call. You know a lot of people. You know how to move around.
Yeah.
Make sure
I need you.
Bam, I'm in there. Yeah. So we started this label called Hindu Entertainment, man, and we didn't know what the hell we was doing. But I knew seeing Noontime, like seeing Chris and Ryan and them, and keeping, when I moved to Atlanta, like during this time, Shakir was at what's LA's company called now?
Hitco?
Hitco. He was at Hitco working for LaRonda at the publishing company.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what I'm saying? Because this is I moved to Atlanta February '97. I came down for the Olympics, right? And then soon it was so much going on. When I got back home, I packed up everything could fit my car, and I came to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
We moved to Atlanta around the same time. You know,
That's
I moved
so crazy.
that August. You know, but it's
Yep.
funny because like you said, noontime, man. It was, and I know Chris was talking about. I saw he made a post like, "Yo, we need to make a movie, a documentary, or something about it." And I agree 1,000,000%, right? Because it's inspired so many of us. Like to me, like coming and seeing noontime. And I remember just seeing all three of them with the Range Rovers.
Yep.
When all three of them had Range, I was like, yo, when I get some bread, I'm getting me a Range Rover.
You still drive a Range Rover to this day, right?
Still drive Range Rover to this day, bro. Like you already know. I know you do too. But that was powerful though, right? Like, wow, like back then, it wasn't a normal thing at all to see. You know what I'm saying? So like they really definitely inspired a lot of us, man.
So that was so inspiring, man. And like we started Hindu Entertainment. And like I said, we didn't know. I mean, you know, we jumped in head first. You know, Alan financed it. You know, Hindu, he financed it. But you know, it was a great learning experience, man, because you know, in that time, the music business, it was like, you know, we thought it was pay, you know, if you got the bread, you pay as you weigh, but coming to find out, cats was just taking our money.
Yeah,
You know
basketball player, right? Athlete.
Come on, man.
Kind of got that trick stamp on your forehead back then, right?
And I was a front man, so I was out there. So I started learning. I'm like, hold on, man. Man, I ain't gonna call nobody's name out, but I remember one time, Jay, I paid somebody to work mix show for me, right?
Yeah.
And I gave him a nice bag, bruh, and do promo. You know what I'm saying? Do promo.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the time when 12 inches was 12 inches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like record.
B-side. Yeah.
So A-side, B-side. So I gave him the records. And, you know, and I'm like, I'm going to the clubs. You know, I'm on the streets. I'm like the front man. So I'm driving the promo truck.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm in the studio with the artists. You remember?
I remember. It was
with the artists. So dude's office was at a studio. And I remember, you know, I was in the studio working. So I snuck over in the office, right? You know what I'm saying? I just want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Man, my records, the whole box was just sitting in a corner. In the office, you know what I'm saying? But he tell me, oh, they out there. I'm telling you. I'm talking about the whole box that I gave him was sitting there. Man. It was a real learning experience, man. And I'll never take that back, man. You know, when I go speak to these kids and speak to a lot of young managers and you know, young entrepreneurs that's coming up, there's no book that can teach you the music business like on job experience, man.
Absolutely not. And that's the funniest part though, right? For real, like when you meet someone that's going to school, you know, going to legitimate university to study music, that's just the wildest part, right? It's like you already know, like, damn, that's pretty cool. You're gonna learn some solid things, but you're still gonna have to start at that bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like you still have to intern. You're still gonna have to get that hands-on experience for real, because like it's truly no manual for it for real, man.
There's you know, like I tell a lot of my artists, man, because you know, a lot of times these young artists, a lot of stuff comes to them fast, and you know, I always tell them, I got cheat codes, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, you got the internet, and you can, you know, you can build your whole fan base, and you know, don't fuck around and have a jingle, you know what I'm saying, something that goes viral. Then it's, you know what I'm saying, but like, all I can give you is, you know, experience that I went through. So it's like I can't tell you how to do it and what to do. I can just give you like a manuscript, right? Sure. Like, okay, if you go this way, I'm 99% that this is gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? If you go this way, so yeah, you gotta really you gotta jump in. You gotta really jump in. And you know, for like, you know, all these like new managers and stuff, like, this shit ain't gonna happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still learning. I've been in the business 23 years, but I allow myself to still.
That's why you're still doing your thing, though, right?
Want to learn.
Yeah, I mean? That's why you're still doing your thing, right?
You know,
yeah, you're smart enough to know. Still, this thing is forever changing. Let me ask you, man, a question. A question that, of course, I've asked the crew some questions. We have like the most common questions.
Yeah.
I'll say the first one I want to kind of just throw in is, how do you select an artist to work with? Like,
it's a passion thing for me, man. I really love authenticity, man. You know what I'm saying? Authenticity. I watch them. Sometimes me and P, we bump heads sometimes because it's like I'm one of the people. I'm a vibe person, so it's like I gotta really connect with you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't chase fads.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
I don't really like go for most artists that we end up signing, like, shit, we develop them, so we start them at the beginning. I like to find the diamond in the rough. I don't like to find the thing that's already shiny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot.
It's hard to get that. Get on that.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? and it's kind of hard. I mean, like, it's just kind of hard, man. So I like to find a diamond in the rough. I really like Jay. I really love like authenticity. When I hear something like a voice or a cadence or even a look, you know what I'm saying? Like, most artists that we end up working with are very self-confident in who they are. You know what I'm saying? And our job is to develop them, to bring out all that talent that they don't know is there. But the authenticity is one of the most, to me, like, maybe like finding Migos, man, like going down in the basement, right, and hearing Young Rich Nigga, Ryan, they mixtape that we put out. Like 10 of the songs was already done. And I'm sitting in the basement, and it's like them Migos and all their partners. And I'm like, God damn, this is gonna change the whole game.
Yeah.
Just the cadence, the flow, voice, texture, you know what I'm saying? Everything. I was like, oh, this shit's gonna change the game. Yeah. And Cass was thinking I was crazy, but it's like when I heard it, I was like, oh, this is gonna change the game. When I first meet Baby used to come to our studio every day to gamble with the Migos. Yeah. At the time, Baby might have been 16, 17, bro. And I'm like, I remember telling him, I say, man, 90% of these rappers are telling your story. I said, your voice, just from him speaking and talking. I said, your voice, your lingo, and you respect it. Like, you respect it in the whole city. When we out, he wasn't even rapping at the time, but he always used to be with us. When we moving around, all these young cats, they respect you. I'm like, man, 99% of these rappers is telling your story.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You just got to.
I've heard that about him. I've heard like people compare Baby to like Pee Wee. Like
he's been around.
Yeah, you should just go in the booth. Like, how could you not? Like, I've heard that about him. Yeah.
Just tell your story. You know what I'm saying? But when you find those, man, like, shit, Jeezy. You know what I'm saying? Meeting Jeezy in the studio at Dallas Austin's studio, I get a call from Dewey, who's from Indianapolis, but he used to run.
Okay.
He used to run Dart. He was the studio manager. And me and Soul Messiah at the time, we was working together. We hustling though. Yeah. I'm hustling Soul Beats. Hey, Dewey called me. Hey, some young cats up here in the studio that man, they got a lot of money. I ain't gonna lie, that's what he told me. They got a lot of money. They've been up in the A room for a whole month.
Yeah.
I should come through here. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you can sell some of your beats, kid. Yep. Dewey from Indianapolis. We've been knowing each other,
Yeah.
So I pull up. Jeezy wasn't even rapping at the time. He was. I remember him telling me, man.
Label or something, right?
Oh yeah, it was. Yep. I'm gonna be the next. They would call Young Guns Entertainment. He said, I'm gonna be the next Master P. I said, oh yeah. So he's playing me as an artist, and I was like, But then he played a record, and I was like, I heard a voice. I'm like, who was that? He's like, oh, that's me, man. I just be playing around. You know, I ain't really no rapper. I'm a street nigga. I said, oh yeah, okay. I said, let me hear another one of your records. He's like, I ain't got nothing in here. Come out to the car with me.
Yeah.
Walk out of dark, walk out to his car, and then he played me some records, and I was like, hey, your voice is crazy. Like, why don't you take this shit serious? And in that moment, I seen his eyes. He was like, are you serious, man?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. So then I was like, listen, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take you up out of there. Y'all spending way too much money here. And I'm gonna take you over here to my man Calfani's studio. You know what I'm saying?
Calfani. Damn.
It's so, you know, it's so with Calfani.
In the back. Yeah.
In the back.
Yep.
And we worked there, man, for a whole year, bro. And you know, that's when Rock City.
Man, what happened to Calfani, man? I'm sorry but have you seen Calfani lately? Heard from him?
He's still around, man.
Still around? Damn,
Yeah.
I haven't heard Calfani's name in a while, man. That's my bad.
He's still around, man. But like, just that one moment, hearing the voice.
Yeah.
And then believing in him. Like, I know you can do it.
Yeah.
We worked 3 years, man. We worked 3 years, bro, before we put out a project, man. I got an interesting story for you.
Uh-huh.
Right? I never forget this. It's the Heart of South album, Jeezy, right? Never forget this, like 2001. When was All-Star? When was All-Star in Atlanta?
That was about 2001, I believe.
2001.
I believe it was 2001.
We putting out the project, we promoting with the bounce. Never forget this. It was that weekend. I remember Jeezy went on stage, did his couple songs, and man, I swear to God, y'all walked in, Tip jumped on that damn stage, man, and tore that shit down, bro. I never forget this. And I was just watching y'all like, yeah, man. Yeah, and Jeezy was back there like, see, man, I'm telling you, we shouldn't even perform tonight. You know what I'm saying?
I know that artist talk. Yeah, I know that artist combo.
You know what I'm saying? And you know that, but that night, I remember Trick Daddy performed that night there.
I remember that, yeah.
That night. But that's what put the fire in him.
I was about to say that's when Trap or Die happened.
That's when the fire was putting him that night.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
felt it.
He felt it. After that night, he was
like, hold up. Yeah.
That's when it was like, all right, I'm gonna take this shit serious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yep.
Yeah. Nah, and that's how it happens though, right? But it's funny because it's like that's that shit. Like, whereas like that is the beauty of it when people actually love what they doing and actually care. Like you said, like, yo, hold up. We don't have all those conversations. I done had those with Tip, right? Like, hold up, what just happened? Like, nah, I gotta go back to the drawing board. I'm coming back. You know, like, and to me, I feel like that's the shit that it takes to actually make it, right? You know what I mean? Just that I care, I want it, I'm relentless now too. Like, and I feel like on the artist side as well as on the executive, up and coming manager, you know, on that side too, I feel like so often, you know, throughout these years, there's been so many people that you've seen come and go, you know what I'm saying? And just not really find a way to sustain, not find a way to diversify, not find a way to move fast enough, you know, because, you know, you got to play offense and defense, right? Like, this is a fast-paced sport for real, you know? So to me, like, talk about that. Obviously, you know, Jeezy was like your first boom, like, I'm here for real, like Coach K now, because for real, like, I remember like meeting you as Kevly, and then fast forward. Go ahead.
So how that happened, man, like from the Heart of South, right? We worked on that shit, man, for 2 years, bro. And you know, during that time, he was finding himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, really finding who he is. You know what I'm saying? As a rapper, because you know, you had Lil J, the street cat.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Who's you know, real respected in the streets.
Sure.
Then you had Young Jeezy, who, you know, the name that we created. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And dog, we was in the studio one day, and he was in the booth, man. And you know, Jay, how we perfectionists. So at the time, I'm A&R managing, I'm everything. So I'm in there like, hey man, that ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't in the pocket, it ain't right, Do it over. I mean, we might work on a record at that time because he was perfecting his craft.
Sure.
And one day he was like, all right, coach. And I was like, damn, you know, I'm big into branding. You know, I'm like, I said, oh, I said, you know what? I like that.
Yeah.
I said, from here on out, when we out, don't call me K, because he's just calling me K. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, from here on out, call me coach. Matter of fact, Coach K, that's the most winningest coach in college history. You know, I played ball at a HBCU in North Carolina. I know they whole shit. I'm like, call me Coach K. I'm the black Coach K. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he started doing that shit, and next thing you know, he's yelling my name in songs and shit, and the shit just took off.
Of course, yeah. But it was funny because, like, by the time, like you said, you know, I saw Jeezy with the whole, you know, with the van. I remember the van, and you know,
I used to buy that damn van, the promo van.
I remember. I remember right off of Moreland, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like that was one thing, and then it was like, obviously, there was just like a switch hit, right? Boom, and then it just became like another thing, you know. So of course,
I got a story for that too.
Okay, got it.
So I'm from Indianapolis. We got this thing in Indianapolis called the Black Expo in the summertime. It's a really big,
legendary,
right? And I always used to brag about it, because Jeezy always used to be like, "Man, you're a college boy." Yeah, I said, "Man, I'm from the hood, my dude." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let me take you home. Yeah. Let me take you home. So it was Black Expo, man. He had just got a brand new SL Benz. We drove all the way from Atlanta to Indianapolis to go to the Black Expo.
In the
you know what I'm saying? On that trip, there's no lie. Listen, when I met Jeezy, all he wanted to listen to was Hot Boys, Master P, you know, like that's it. And it used to drive me crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I fuck with the music, but I was kind of from a different era. You know, I'm a little bit older. You know, so it's like that from Atlanta to Indianapolis, I was like, man, you got to start telling these stories. Like when you're in the club and you ordering all these bottles and everything that we doing, you got to start talking about it. But I said, it's a clever way. He's like, nah, I can't do that, man, because I'm incriminating myself. I said, but it's a clever way you can do it. Jay, I had him listen to Biggie Smalls' first and second album, and Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt. The whole trip.
I knew he was gonna say Reasonable Doubt. Right?
The whole trip from Atlanta to Indianapolis back. Yeah. And I never forget, like after that trip, he's like, I get it now. Yeah. And he called me one night. He went out to Shawty Red's house and he called me. He was like, hey, meet me on 10th Street. You remember where it used to be a Chevron right there? Now it's the Shell is up on 10th and now on 14th Street. Meet me on 14th. It used to be the Amoco.
Gas stations right next to each other.
Yeah. He's like, meet me there. So I jumped in the car and I meet him over there. And he played me Air Forces. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He played me Air Forces. And I was like, oh, you got it now. Yeah. I said, you got it now.
Yo,
you got it now.
I remember, because this was like, I guess Tip had like got locked up and came home, you know, something like that. Like, but I remember the energy and just feeling like, oh shit. But see, that was to me, then I'm like, well, you know, I'm a student of the game, right? I'm like, oh, well, who's the manager? Who's behind him? Like Coach K. I'm like, I don't know who Coach K is. You know what I'm saying? Coach K. Right. But then when I come, I'm like, oh shit, that's Coach. I'm like, that's my man. Like, nah, that was something. I mean, obviously that movement was huge, and I say all the time, like, Jeezy had the best street team in the history of hip hop. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? With just that whole BMF movement. At the time. Like, come on, it was, oh my gosh. It couldn't have, no one could have possibly had a better street team than that just during that time. Okay. So it was just dope to me, like, just to even be there to see that. That's something that, you know, is so much history in so many different points.
I tell people, man, it's the way I use it. You can go to the circus, and when you come home from the circus, you can't explain it. You got to actually go to the circus to really understand and see the circus. Yeah. That time and era, you had to be there.
You had to be there.
It'll never happen again.
Yeah, nah, definitely. It's the world's different. Like, the world's different. It'll never happen again. Absolutely.
It's but this is before Instagram pictures and this and that. Like you actually had to be in the building,
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
really experience and see what was going on. It was a time that was a time, man. Atlanta was a different time then, bro.
Nah, totally different, And it's funny how like you said, like with obviously technology, social media, it just makes people just so overconfident. You know what I'm saying? Like you could pull up in a Bugatti, right? And somebody's like, that's last year's Bugatti. Like
Right.
they got a Toyota. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to me, like back then, it was something to just, I'm just seeing whatever this is for the first time. I haven't seen it on my telephone. I'm seeing it in person. I had to go here to see this.
Exactly.
I had to be in a room to experience this. Like that's the dope part about knowing what that life still feels like. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many people obviously that don't even know what that feels like, man.
For sure.
It's crazy, So to actually kind of have one foot in and one foot on the other side of, still staying abreast and understanding what's happening now with technology. But, technology just enhances us.
No, most definitely, man. It's it's good and bad. It's more good than bad, but I get tired of people don't live in the moment no more. You know what I'm saying? Because of technology. That drives me crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I'm at the concert, but I got the phone on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even enjoying the concert. I got the live is on me though.
Yeah.
At the concert.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, enjoy that shit. Take it in.
Yep. Let me ask you a couple more of these questions real quick.
For sure.
Someone wants to know, where do you see the music industry headed from here?
I mean, I think it's a reset button right now, man. Like, I honestly think that great storytelling, that's what really, well, I can say hip hop and R&B, great storytelling made the best records.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think when times like this happen, we've never seen nothing in our entire life. What's going on right now,
Yep.
And I think there's going to be a reset where like, it's some reality checks is about to happen. You know what I'm saying? And we got to. It's a time where we got to come together, and it's everything's slowed down, and you can kind of see through the bullshit now. Like all the shit that was going on, I don't see that shit no more on social media.
Yeah,
that shit has stopped.
Oh yeah, I was saying that the other day too. A lot has stopped, man. A lot, because now it's like you really got to be creative now, right?
Got to really be creative.
Like you really got to create yourself now, for real.
Yes.
Like you can't go nowhere just for the pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I think great storytellers win. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Timeless music, man. It's gonna get back to that. I think it's gonna get back to people really like, even with social media now, it's all these lives and stuff. But which ones are cutting through? Everybody's on live right now. But which ones are cutting through? Like, let's think. You got to think about it. Let's produce it. You don't have a lot like in these last 3, 4, 5 years. Money's just been at abundance, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Now we have to get creative.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And the creative, I think the ones that create the best product, and it's not even about money.
Yeah.
Let's go into our thing. Let's start writing it down. Let's go into our heads and let's think this shit out. Those are the ones that are gonna cut through and win.
Yep.
All the fluff that's been like just fucking winning, and like just I think we're gonna come to a standstill on that.
Yeah, nah, definitely, it makes sense. People want more substance, and someone else asked the question like, "Yo, how do you promote yourself if you don't have any money?" I think that you hit on it, right? Creativity really kind of rises for real,
all day long.
Like I've spent money on something, some content, shot it, edited, posted it, and it got less views than something that I just held the phone for, right? Like,
because I mean, people can smell fluff, not to say your shit was, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They want the authenticity, man. Like, artist can go shoot a real video just on them. It could be their phone and shoot the real shit, right? And people feel like they connected more with that than all the lights, the cars, all the glitz, and because it's like, oh, this is kind of some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But this is a reality that I really can connect to.
Yeah.
Most, I mean, if you're an artist out there, like, be creative, man. It cuts through. Don't be a follower. Don't just follow the fad. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Don't follow the fad, please.
So someone else wants to know. This is a manager, right? They say, as a manager, how can you tell when your relationship is getting sour with your artist?
You will know. I mean, honestly, man, because I didn't have, I feel like this. I feel like this. Every artist manager relationship, there's gonna be sour moments. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What I can give you some advice. What I've learned is to take the emotion out. You know what I mean? Of the relationship. Artists that I work with now, I let them know from the beginning, we met on business. You know what I'm saying? This is a business relationship.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Whether, of course, when you spend time with a person and you're around, of course, the love and all that comes, but always keep in mind what brought you together. It was business. So if you operate from that mind state, you will understand and you will see when the sour moments start to happen.
Yeah, you're gonna see it. You're gonna feel it too, right? Like,
You're gonna feel it too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're gonna see and feel it.
Yeah.
But every time I sit on a panel or I talk to new managers, I'm like, listen, take the emotion out, and deal with the business. You know what I'm saying? Because if you handle the business, most of the time, all the emotional stuff it shouldn't even jump in the way. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is, like in the state of where music is now, there's so much access now. Like new managers, man. I was talking to a new manager, right? And I'm like, listen, man, stay out the way of your artists, bro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Play the back.
Yeah.
And put the work in and let the work shine.
Yeah.
You ain't got to be out in front. I do this, I do that. Because I told him, I said, what's going to happen is artists got egos. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, they're going to feel like they're doing it. It's all on them. So let the work speak for it, man.
Yeah.
Like you build your brand. Oh, yeah, you got to build your brand, but you have to you have to be smart about that while building your brand, because you do have you're managing an artist's life, so it's like you got to build them up too. So
yeah. Man, a lot of people, I think, like you said, like especially like coming up, me and Tip just being 3 years apart in age. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, like you really gotta kind of draw the lines, right, in your relationship. Like, yo, you know what? We're not dating girls together. We're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really, and I've seen so many times, like, people, like you say, really don't draw the lines.
Yeah, you can,
and I think that a lot of people really don't really understand how real that is until they get their feelings hurt for it, And to me, I just always find it ironic that the business person is typically the one that gets his feelings hurt by the artist.
Most definitely.
Like, that is like, I'm the businessman, but I'm, sitting in the seat. You put so much into an artist, and eventually an artist, oftentimes wants to make another move, be it out of emotions or not. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, like, the experience in the game is certain things that, it's like, and I always compare these, it's just a different form of a relationship, right? So I kind of, to most people that haven't been through certain things, I kind of use the hey, you've been with like a significant other, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Right.
you know, your first girlfriend, your first little relationship, and y'all doing adult things, and you open and you feel like this is the best thing, nothing else. And then when you get your heart broken, it's like, okay, now you're ready for some more relationships, you know?
No. One thing I can say, if any new managers on here, you don't really learn the business until you get that first heartbreak,
Mhm.
because you don't know what else exists out there. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
And once that happens, and it happens to us all, it's just business, man. Like, you
Yeah.
know, shit don't last forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just for real.
It's the game.
Once that happens, that's when it all makes sense.
Yeah. So that's gonna lead me into another question that I saw someone wrote, which I always see it so often too, right? Someone says from a manager's position, finance or label owner, whatever you want to call it, basically same thing. You work with somebody for a while, you're gonna form a personal relationship with them, right? We speak
Right.
about loyalty and respect and all of that. That's gonna come, but you get to a point when you have to evaluate the situation and say, we've been working together for X amount of time, and where have we gotten? Now,
Right.
investing X amount of dollars for this person says they've been investing for 4 years in this artist. At what point should they say, you know what, maybe this ain't working, and keep it moving and going and try to work with somebody else? So I'm sure you see that all the time. People just kind of damn near over investing in an artist.
No, for sure. I mean, it's always it comes to another thing that every artist I sign. When I've signed them, we sit down. I tell them, okay, you know you're on the clock now, and you have a shelf life. Every artist has a shelf life. You know what I mean? And it's gonna come a moment where it's gonna be a separation time, and 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 that time comes when, you know, I can't speak on who or when, but that time comes when the manager or the label and the artist feel like it doesn't work anymore.
Clearly.
You know what I mean? And there's been times, you know, where I had to make those decisions where it's like, okay, damn, we invest this much money,
Mm-hmm.
you know, into this artist. Where does it go? Do we let it go? You know, keep do we believe in it? Do we keep going? Or, you know, do we just, you know, just try
Sure.
to something else, you know? And
Sure.
we've have had to make decisions where we just, you know, we let it go and walk away. You know, everybody walk away gracefully. We tried, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But those moments are real.
Nah, it's definitely business. You got to make business decisions, right?
Exactly.
You know, the bottom line. So I think that's the reality. Like,
It
that's
goes back to it. It's a business relationship.
back to your point. Keep that in mind. We're here for business. What's up with the business? And you really test the friendship when the business ends. You know, like, like that's the real part, right? Like if we agree to, okay, we're not gonna do business anymore. Now we don't have to sit around with each other anymore, right?
Right.
Now let's see how this plays out.
Right.
Like, yeah. So it's interesting. So let me ask you, how do you get from Young Jeezy to Gucci Man?
It's very interesting, man. Um, I'm a coach.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you
You
go.
know, I didn't invent the game. I just coached in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shit. Chicago's coach. What's Chicago's coach name?
Was talking about the Bulls,
Yeah.
Jordan, Pat Riley?
Not Pat Riley. No.
Oh, Phil Jackson, my bad.
Phil Jackson.
Yeah,
Phil Jackson coach
yeah.
Jordan, and then he went to coach Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those teams hated each other.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Lakers. You know what I'm saying? I'm a coach, man. So at some point I have to make business decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely. We're talking business.
it's a business. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Talking business. Yeah.
you know, like, hey, my talents, you know, I use my talents over here, and you know, we did really good things. You know what I'm saying? You know, now I've been approached by another organization
Absolutely, I love it.
for my talents.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
negotiate an offer.
This organization says they're ready to win some rings.
Exactly. You know, this
Yeah.
organization is ready to win rings.
Yeah.
Take my talent. We negotiate a deal. Hey, now I'm coaching this organization.
Yep.
It's business, man. You
Yep.
know, let's remove all the emotion stuff out, man. This is business, man.
Bottom line.
Bottom line, man.
Bottom line. So of course, Gucci for a few years to me, which obviously kind of just relationships and all that, of course, as well, right? Because I've always heard the stories about what Gucci having the Amigos signed to him initially, you know. So now when you and Pete connect and you guys end up striking a deal with Gucci, and now
Exactly.
boom, grabbing Amigos
Business.
and with that.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
business.
Mm-hmm.
So let's remove all the emotion out, man. Hey, man, this, you know, the time, you know, Gucci was going through, he was about to go away. You know, he's like, I think this is the best thing. Me and P, you know, we going to start a label, business. Let's work this deal out. Work the deal out, business.
So let me ask you this. How do you balance art versus business, art versus commerce, right? From the standpoint of me knowing you, you in all the underground spots, you in all the artsy spots, you're collecting paint, investing in visual artists, you know, but you still don't let that all the way get in interfere with your business decisions, perhaps.
Yeah, man, because I mean, all of it's art.
Absolutely.
You know, I look at it, if it's trap rap to house music,
Yep.
it's all art to me.
Mhm.
That's how I look at it.
Yep.
You know, hip hop raised me, you know, like really raised me. You know, I remember the first record, you know, the first hip hop record, I was a kid to now. My whole thing was always to try to stay relevant with what's going on in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Because the culture's big, you know. So, you know, you got art kids and you have hood kids. I'm intrigued by it all. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, I might meet a kid from the hood and I feel good about teaching them about the art. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And then what happens is these kids these artsy kids, they're really intrigued about what's going on in the hood.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to like walk, you know, able to walk the fence, man, because I go back to one of the first questions, authenticity, man. I think it's art in everything.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I
agree.
think it's art in everything, bro. So I get a high and I get off from finding, you know, that in the business that I work in. You know what I'm saying? And able to take, you know, my everyday walking life, Kevin Lee's walking life, and bringing it all together. Like that's it's the thing that, you know, that's really what strives me, and that's what I get off on. You know what I'm saying? Like being able to just to walk the fine line, man. So it's separated, but it's not separated because I look at it all as art, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I really do. And I'm starting to see it more and more as, you know, when you start moving around into traveling and you know, it's like it's all kind of intertangled now. You know what I mean?
I mean, you know, I would always kind of like say when you go back to like the Harlem Renaissance and you look at, you know, artists from that era, right? An artist did everything, right? I sung a song, wrote a poem, painted a picture, acted in a play. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's the arts, you know. So, but at the same time, I agree with you, right? Because even working deals, right? It's the art of the deal too, right? It's the art of getting through the airport in a matter of 15 minutes and catching that flight. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, you know, it's an art, though, a little bit of everything for sure, you know? So I agree 1,000,000%. And to me, what do you do for a you know, a release to get away? You know, me, I got into collecting antiques, you know, And I really just kind of fell into that, and I really enjoyed it just because it was like an escape from everything regular that I knew in the world, for real. You know, like now I'm like dealing with mostly senior citizens, you know, collectors, people that are so one track minded, they really don't even know what else is going on outside of their little culture, you know. And I got into that really heavy, you know, and I've seen you obviously from art for years, but evolve and evolve. So I just wanted you to talk about that a little bit.
I love finding, man, new Black artists, man.
Yep.
Like it's something that I be on the computer all day just surfing and links and you know, like, for one, I support living Black artists, man. Yep. I think we should give living Black artists their flowers while they're alive. You know, like most Black, you know, African American artists or African artists, you know, they don't get their flowers until they pass, man. And it kind of, you know, once I really start getting deep into the art world, it started kind of fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like,
yeah,
there are some amazing, these, you know, why did it take for Basquiat to die on drugs and no one to go pull him and say, listen, my brother, and grab him up, you know what I'm saying? And babysit him and baby him and tell him he was great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of robbing him, let him die, you know, and then the family are, you know, they don't own, you know what I'm saying? So I love finding, like, man, I ain't gonna, like you say you collect antiques, man. I love finding like new Black, I thrive on that. Like, and I go find them and I support them, you know what I'm saying? And I buy their art. And then I take them and I go share it with all my friends that collect. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you should acquire one of these pieces, you know, you should acquire one, you know, you should check this artist out. And you know, it's, you kind of build a community, man, because what that does is it helps them in the value of their work, man. You know, I think in the art world, that world is a really, really, really wild world. You know what I'm saying? You know, it amazes me that, like an artist, man, like a producer, they own, you know, they can own their publishing, the rights to their music, right? The copyright. An artist can go paint one of these pictures, sell it to someone, right? And then they can hold on to it. It gets in a gallery. The value goes up. The guy who owns the art, they get the value. But not the artist.
Not at all.
And that bothers me, man.
So
just trying to learn and figure out how we can build a collective, man, where these artists still can get a percentage of these sales. Man. You know, I mean, you know, it's good for them to, you know, if one sells for a big amount, because then they can start selling their work. But man, they should always, if they created that, man, they should always be able to get you know, some type of something.
I agree. Like, I agree. Just like Apple, right? Apple says, if I create this computer, like, it's mine still.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. So, nah, I agree, man. Totally. You know, and
I get off on that, man. It's like, I love finding, man. Like, I go in the trenches, man. Like, right before, it's this artist, man. He's in the low bottom in South Carolina. His name is Mint Nelson. He's really, really dope. You know, I'm gonna give him a shout out right now.
Okay.
Super duper dope, man. But he's from
what's his name?
Mint Nelson.
Nelson. Okay.
Yeah. He's from the low bottom. They call the low boil. You know
down in Carolinas.
Down in Carolinas, man. And you know, I'm intrigued with him a lot, man, because he's a photographer too, and he shoots, you know, his town and where he's from, and it's very, the pictures are very compelling. I mean, it's amazing. But just knowing that, like, you know, the Savannah, you know, that whole area, biggest slave port ever. You know, it was the largest slave port ever, and most of the people that still live here, they're not too far away from their African descent, like
absolutely
their dialect and how they talk and everything.
The Geechees.
the Geechees, you know what I'm saying? So I'm very intrigued with it, man. And
Yeah.
and he paints water paints from
Okay.
spring water, from the water that falls
Wow.
from the
Yeah.
sky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
How
fucking
old
crazy.
is this guy, man? How old is
Huh?
he?
He's
About how
young,
old?
he's a young brother, man. He's probably about 25.
Wow. Wow. I'm gonna check him out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check him out because
Gave him a crazy shout out.
yeah. I'm gonna check him out for sure, man.
Don't be mad at me. It's a bunch of other ones that's out here that's really dope though that I support, but I'm just intrigued with his work right now, man, because you know the water, like this painting from the the water that falls from the sky. He uses that water
That's crazy.
for his water paintings.
Yeah. Now I think it's important, man, for people to, obviously just have different outlets to draw inspiration from, as well as just to diversify too, right? Just and just our business dealings for real. I think that now in this where we're at right now, quarantine, it just shows us like, man, it pays to be lean, right? It pays to be diverse. It pays to, like you see like just so many things that are more beneficial in business practices that, we wonder, of course, post-pandemic, will it still happen? Will it still,
Right.
be about, which personally I do. I feel like, it's going to be a minute before we could really recover all the way from this just naturally.
No, for real, man.
Yeah. So, yo, man, I want to thank you for, of course, coming on, chopping it up, giving us your time.
I appreciate you, Jay, man. And the heavy sound laugh. I like that.
Appreciate you, man. I said I would just wanted to be straight about the sound, just like the quality, and just kind of like a nod to just that engineering, and just that kind of ability to build. Like I just want to build shit, man. Build shit, build things fast. Let me see, what are they asking me? If we could ask some questions, some more questions from the side. I'll give you guys a few minutes to drop some questions for me to ask Coach in real time. If you guys are coming. Yeah, no one's coming.
I'm having a tough day, man. My wisdom teeth, man, killing me.
Word, damn. All right, here go one real quick. What are some hard and or soft skills an up and coming artist manager should have?
In a what?
What are some hard and soft skills that an up and coming manager should have?
I tell every manager, man, like you have to really believe in your artist. You have to be very, very passionate, because you got to put them before you.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're not willing to do that, I don't think it's gonna work. And I tell your managers all that time, you got to really dig deep inside, because you have to put the artist before you. And if you believe in it, you have to put business first, man. I'm go back to that first comment, the first, like, put business first and take the emotion out.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that's like probably the best advice. I remember Shaq Kim told me that, man. He told me when I first came in, he was like, yo, man, I see all of that cool shit. It's not a matter of, what he said, it's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when.
Right.
And I was like, how one of them jewels that I didn't catch at that moment.
You didn't catch it.
A little further down, I was like, oh.
That's what he meant.
That's what he meant. Like, for real, that's what he meant. Somebody's asking about what are the main record pools to utilize when breaking a record? Whew. That's a throwback.
Record pool. I mean,
that's a throwback right there.
Just anymore?
That's a throwback right there, man. Yeah, record pools. That's an old practice for real.
Old practice on the chitlin circuit.
Chitlin circuit, still relevant.
It is. Especially in the South, man. Like all my artists, I do still do the chitlin circuit. I send all my artists through the chitlin circuit first, man. Like, because those are the areas that's like the B and C markets, people. If if you're listening, you know, those are the areas that most artists and don't go to. You know, once they get to a level, they don't end up never going there. And there's real people and fans that are there. And you know, there's big communities in these BNC markets. So I always send my artists through. That's like the first man thing. I say, let's get in that van, get ready to get in the van, and chilling circuit. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they get mad and all that, but once you build that fan base, man, them fans are loyal, man. They right there for you, for real.
With the launch of this, I was actually looking forward to running through Chitlin Circuit. Kind of doubling back down and, you know, and just talking to people, meeting people with people directly in person and things of that nature. So like you said, people remember those moments forever and become emotionally attached, man. So yeah, that Chitlin run is incredible. Here's a question for females. Say, what's your advice for a female on ways to evolve in the music business, being in such a male-dominated sport?
Now, female have to be really, really careful. But don't be scared, though. You know what I'm saying? Just protect yourself. And if you really want to do it, just go forward in it. You know, I support females, man, a lot, man, because I feel like females think a little different from men. I think they're
smarter.
You know, they're more analytical. You know what I'm saying? They take their time to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always supportive of, you know, my staff. My whole back office is all female. No, for real. Like, I don't know what I would do without them. But my whole, you know, I bet on females. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. But just for a female, like, just keep the hunger and just keep it straight. You know what I'm saying? If you're dealing with, you know, it's a very male dominated business. So just keep it straight and keep it business, and don't get distracted. You know what I'm saying? Don't get distracted, and just keep your grind and hustle on, man. Because you are needed.
Man, females are, I agree with you, man. Females are, I mean, to me, number one, just diversity, right? To have a great team, you need as many great, smart minds with different backgrounds sitting at the table as possible, you know, to really kind of have a full thought, you know, like, you know, but I'll say too, man, females, like, yo, like a lot of females, please, like, don't spend your time with the wrong people.
Yep.
Like, you know, in the music business, you know, I've always heard about like someone being mistreated or taken advantage of by a person that I'm always like, well, damn, I can see that though. Like, that's a slimy person from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, why would you invest this much time with this greaseball? So I think that, like you said, females, you got to go hard, but just like anyone, it's like you got to also kind of gauge character and do a little bit of research around people as well, because, you know, a lot of dudes, man, I've seen people take advantage of, you know, females for years, specifically more so when I was younger, you know, in the game, and just seeing how young females, you know, could be a little gullible and naive sometimes, and can, you know, take advantage of that. So I think that definitely be careful who you spend your time with and make your network really count, you know. Yeah. So cool, bro. I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
Look forward to seeing you in person one day. Like,
right? We have another one of them builds, man. You know, we sit down. It's always good when we catch up.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. So I'm gonna follow up with you soon, man. Appreciate it. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks for coming through, bro.
My brother, thank you.
All right.
All right, peace.
Cool.
Absolutely.
So, Heavy Crew, Heavy Sound Labs. I hope you guys enjoyed this round of, you know, conversations, our first heavy talk. Clearly, we had Malachi spoke to Jay White. That was dope. I learned a lot from Jay White. His story, I think, was really incredible. He has a lot of success right now. and DJ Scream with Tamiko. Tamiko, you're like super good. I want some pointers on, you know, how to conduct my interviews a little better. But DJ Scream, salute to you. You've been holding it down for so long and helping so many of us on the artist side, on the executive side, manager side, just within the culture all the way around for sure, you know. So heavy crew members, stay tuned. We're gonna do these conversations. We're gonna do them every Saturday, and we're gonna do a smaller conversation probably on Wednesdays as well. So stay on deck for the announcements. If you enjoyed the conversation, if you have any quotes or anything, please hashtag Heavy Talk 2020 on Twitter, on Instagram, Heavy Talk 2020. Thanks again. See you guys soon. Stay tuned. We're working for you. Later.